Hello, everyone. Welcome to the episode 12 of AWS She Builds Tech Skill. This month, we are going to talk about all about IoT twin makers and digital twins. Before we dive into, let's welcome my host, Mai. Hey, Mai, how you doing?
Good, thanks, May. How are you?
Yeah, really good. Now I can see a bit of a background change. Where are you streaming from today?
I'm streaming from the office here. Just yesterday, I was in a different AWS office as well. So lots of traveling coming back, especially in a customer-facing role here at AWS. And yeah, definitely an awesome thing to do, I reckon. So
Yeah.
we do work hard, and we also do like to have some fun in some places, while obviously being customer obsessed as well. So, what are your thoughts around travel, and where have you been traveling?
It's 2 years. Last 2 years, we haven't been traveling much, right? So definitely, as a role as a solutions architect, we do a lot of customer facing activities. So one of them is travels, and I love traveling. Who doesn't? So my last travel, it was last week to Singapore. It was a bit of a change because here in Australia, so I'm in Sydney in Australia, and it's winter, right? So it's freezing cold in those days, and then going to Singapore, it is a bit of a change. But traveling is always fun, isn't it? So
Oh
where
yeah.
have you been traveling, Mai?
So I was in Melbourne just the other day. Melbourne is an awesome city. I love it. And if I wasn't here, I wouldn't have. I would have totally lived in Melbourne. But really, really awesome green city. I think it's the Garden State, isn't it? So, yeah. With that being said, I'm curious to see where the viewers are from. So, where is everyone, I guess, tuning in from? If you can test out the Twitch chat, love to
No.
know.
Yeah, where is everyone joining from? I'm gonna drop in a chat. Where are you all joining from? We would love to hear. I know we've been focusing, in Australia, APJ region, but we have got audience from all around the world. Cool. So, I guess this week, like, let's talk about. Oh, there's someone's from Columbus in USA. Welcome to the show. Um, so this week we're going to talk about IoT twin makers. So I think, like when I heard about IoT twin maker, I don't really know what it is about. So before before we interview with our specialists, I have to go and research about it. So I think this is a really interesting technology, and without having much background, I can really see, even though I can really see a benefits in the twin maker, or more specifically, digital twins. So what do you think of what do you think of like digital twin makers and IoT twin makers?
Yeah, definitely. So I know Andrew's got to dive into the tech part of it, but there's a
Yeah,
lot of applications to not only, I guess, public sector, but also a lot of industrial manufacturing customers. So
yeah,
think about preventative maintenance, perhaps even for educational and training purposes. For example, take factories and smart factories, right?
mm,
Um, how can you sort of get that real-time data off your real, factory devices and make a digital twin for it, and you can
yeah,
actually see that virtually without actually having to set foot in that factory, for example.
mm,
And then you can use that 3D model
yeah.
to train any new staff, for example. So there's the possibilities are endless, and I know Andrew will dive into it more, and she'll have a demo upcoming and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Because when I was looking at the twin maker, like it's really eyes opening. Like the digital twin, I think Andrea mentioned about it, it has been around for a while, so it's not new, but it's very impressive how the digital representations of the physical system or the physical products, perhaps like in the buildings and stuff, to get that data, like the real time or dynamic data, and to mimic the true representations of the structure. It's really, I can see like a lot of use cases in the industrial, like massive commercial buildings and things. So I think yeah, it's really such a cool technology, isn't it?
Yeah,
Cool.
100%.
um
Awesome. Oh, poll time, isn't it?
It is poll time. So we haven't done poll in our show before. So this is just gonna be like a little poll to see our audience, like how many times you're seeing the our Twitch show, because we've been streaming every month. So we would like to see, is are you a newcomer, or are you have been regularly joining the shows, and so on. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna share my screen and then get the poll up on the screen. All you have to do is answer in the chat. So I am just gonna do that. Hope you can all see my screen. Cool. So if you can see on the screen, all you have to do is to put in one, if you're first time joining She Builds Tech Skills Show, or two, you have seen a few of our shows, or three, like you're regularly catching up on the show.
Hey, May, I can't seem to see your screen. Or is it just
Oh,
me?
you can't. Oh, let's see. Can you see my screen now? It's always the case with and sharing. I can see some of the answer coming up. Let me reshare it. Can you see it now?
It could just be me. Maybe it's a poll to the audience. Can the audience see the screen?
Let me share my screen again.
Oh, there we go. Yep, I've got it now.
Cool. Yeah. Awesome. So there are a few people, the poll is still opening. So if you can see the screen and the questions, let's see, are you joining the first time for the Tech Skill Show? We have run quite a few of the shows in the past. Well, quite a few. It's 12 now. So we broadcast monthly. So if you can answer that, I can say most of you or the attendees are first time. Have anyone seen the show a few times in the past, or come across, just stumbled upon YouTube, our YouTube page, and saw the previous or past episode?
All right. Seems to be first time users here. That's really
That's
interesting.
Oh, that's yes. Welcome to all the newcomers. We do this show every month, so just a little bit of a promotion about the show, right? So we do these shows every month. We have presenter from our community or AWS experts, so people who has been working in the industry or the Amazonians. We have a chat with them, talk about the technology. Like for example, today we talk about digital twins. Last time we talked about cost management on AWS. So the topics are very broad, from they're very technical topics like such as today, or maybe cost management, maybe security. So the topic is very broad in that sense.
Awesome. All right. So it looks like all of our not users, all of our people here right now is like first time users. So we'd love to get recurring users. So definitely join us monthly. If you missed out on our previous episodes, we do have episodes on YouTube, as mentioned. So
I'm going to drop the YouTube while you're talking. So there are a lot of shows on the YouTube as well that we have been broadcasting. So yeah.
Awesome. All right. With that, shall we go to Andrew's session? And I'll introduce Andrew, and we'll go to Andrew's session, and she'll be exploring the IoT TwinMaker service and how it can be used. And Andrew is a domain solutions architect in the public sector team, and she advises and guides customers on how they can achieve their desired business results using the breadth and depth of the AWS platform. So she has over 20 years of experience around technical leadership in financial services, telcos, utilities, government, research institutions, and startups as well. She's specialized in data and information management solutions as well. And she really enjoys helping customers with digital twin and video solutions. So let's welcome Andra.
My name is Andra Christie, and I'm a Senior Solutions Architect in the public sector AWS, and my main focus is on digital twins. Look, we know there's a really broad definition of what digital twins mean to everyone, and the approach that we've taken here is, we want to focus on the business benefits and the business outcomes that customers are trying to achieve by using digital twins. So I'm here today to talk to you about our new solution, which is called AWS IoT TwinMaker, and how it can help customers optimize their operations by using digital twins. So we know there's a lot of interpretations out there, but the definition that we've decided to go with is that digital twins are virtual representations of either physical objects or processes or even people that really closely mimic the state and behavior of the real thing. But more importantly, they're built to solve specific business challenges. We also know that digital twins aren't really a new concept. They've been around for a really long time. But the thing that makes them really relevant today is customers across industries are focusing more on digital transformation. There's a much broader adoption of IoT and machine learning. And realistically, cloud computing in general has made digital twins not just possible, but within reach for all of our customers. So we wanted to make it easier for our customers. So to give them an option to navigate the space, we actually developed what we call a digital twin index. We're using levels 1 through to 4. And this is really similar to what you would see in the self-driving or autonomous vehicle space, where they've got a leveling system from 1 through to 5. So if you think about it, level 1 is cruise control, level 2 is adaptive cruise, and then all the way through to level 5, which is that truly autonomous driving, the hands-off, no steering wheel kind of situation. And then each level drives their own business value, just depending on the use case. We've got a really great blog out there. It's actually a blog series that I would highly recommend you all check out. So the TwinMaker product team actually spent time talking to a lot of customers across lots of different industries, and they shared with us a lot of interesting and innovative use cases. And what they found was a majority of customers were focusing on applying digital twins to change and transform their operations. But the real question was, why are customers not realizing the vision of digital twins? Well, because it's really hard. Customers know that building and managing digital twins can be time-consuming, complicated, costly. They know that they might need developers with specialized skills to build custom integrated solutions. But if we kind of break it down a bit, there were really 3 main areas that customers raised in regards to complexity. And it came down to this. Number 1 was data for digital twins is diverse and it lives in different locations. So, it's difficult to curate and create those associations. Physical assets can live and change over literally decades. And obviously, in order to be relevant, digital twins need to be able to do the same. And then finally, those 3D visualizations that give us that natural and familiar way to interpret operational data, well, they're also hard to build and maintain. So there's a lot to unpack there. And, these are just some of the reasons why customers who wanted to get into building digital twins sort of shied away from it due to that perceived complexity of it all. So this is what helped us with the key functionality and key pain points that we wanted to address with TwinMaker. So AWS IoT TwinMaker is a new service. It was launched last year at our reInvent conference. And put simply, it's a service that's meant to help customers easily create digital twins of real-world systems and then use them to optimize operations. So TwinMaker connects data from a lot of different sources. This could be equipment or video cameras or business applications. And then it creates a knowledge graph to model those systems to generate real-time insights from the twin. So customers can create digital twins of their entire physical environment, and they can use 3D visualizations to build applications that, for example, help plant operators or maintenance engineers optimize factory operations, increase production output, improve equipment performance, and obviously a lot more. The key thing to remember here is that TwinMaker is a set of tools. It's not an end application. So it's a tool for building digital twins. So let's get into a bit of how TwinMaker actually works. This is the closest that I've got to a architectural diagram. I'm joking. I do have a proper digital architectural diagram. So at a high level, TwinMaker has a plugin architecture that lets customers connect to data sources. So real-time IoT sensor data, 3D data, point cloud data, video data, really any sort of application data, and really crucially, without having to re-ingest it. So you connect to those data sources with the plugin architecture, model that into a knowledge graph, and that knowledge graph is also sort of overlaid on top of the visual 3D model, such that the visualization layer has a 3D layer of widgets that connect back to the knowledge graph and all of the data sources that are connected to it. And then you can surface that to the end users via a web application. This is the high level of how the service actually works to connect the data to the visualization to the end users. I've got a really common use case here for operational digital twins, and the focus of my chosen architecture was digital twins of smart, sustainable buildings. So one of our customers and launch partners, Cognizant, is using their One Facility platform for smart, sustainable buildings together with TwinMaker. This is actually a really useful example of what can be achieved by using TwinMaker to really bring out and enhance the capability of an existing application. So Cognizant knew that managing a commercial building requires a lot of objectives with competing priorities, and they need to be satisfied simultaneously. Everything from ensuring health, safety, and comfort of the occupants. A big one is around sustainable initiatives like reducing energy usage and meeting other environmental requirements, and also things like lowering and monitoring of maintenance of the overall building. So their One Facility solution actually addresses all of these needs, but by combining it with TwinMaker, they were able to enhance the capabilities of One Facility via 3D visualization of the building, and it's really helped them to quickly locate building issues, even when they've had less experienced operators. It's helped them reduce the level of effort to build and maintain connections to the facility's data. So let's talk a bit about their architecture. So in this solution example, sensor data and building systems are simulated in an AWS Lambda function. The simulated data is then collected using Sitewise, and then measurements, which could include things like air quality, temperature, occupancy, and energy usage, are simulated. The time series data is stored in Sitewise, along with building hierarchy and asset models. Threshold-based alarms are then configured on the asset models to detect when a particular measurement would exceed those particular values. And then Sitewise would generate the alarm records, publish them to IoT Core via a property change notification, and then that alarm record ultimately would reside in TimeStream along with external alarm data component. There's actually a blog that goes into a lot more details around this, and I'd highly recommend you check it out. For this solution example, the visualization layer was built using Grafana hosted in an EC2 instance. We've got S3 storing the 3D models of the floors, the zones, and assets used to build the scenes. So Grafana interfaces with TwinMaker via plugin to access the data as opposed to interfacing with the individual data sources. And this really lets the application developer focus on creating those really meaningful visualizations rather than determining on how to access the data. A differentiating feature for one facility that was really enabled by TwinMaker is the 3D display of the building and floors to help the facility manager identify, locate, and triage issues. By using the Scene Composer feature of TwinMaker, a scene is created for each floor and also for the overall building. So as a first step, you upload a 3D models to represent the zones and other equipment, and to create a scene for a floor, you add one or more 3D models from the resource library. Finally, another example and demo. So Carrier, who's another one of our launch customers, is also using TwinMaker with their Abound Smart platform. And they use TwinMaker to create digital twins. So this is real-time and historical state of buildings, again, to improve occupancy, comfort, and energy efficiency. And the impact and benefits are threefold. They were able to increase visibility into performance and trends. They were able to decrease service costs and optimize maintenance schedules. And they were able to run equipment more efficiently and sustainably by implementing a predictive approach informed by the various data inputs. So I hope this has given you a good overview of what AWS IoT TwinMaker can achieve, and I'm looking forward to answering some of your questions.
Cool. That's a really, really cool demo. I really like the 3D representations of the physical buildings. And I think sustainability is really important. And with the technology, if we can help the occupancy comfort, like Andrea said, and also energy sustainable, I think it's a massive thing. What do you think of mine?
Yeah, definitely. I love the 3D model. I think it's awesome. I really get excited with like the digital twin representation of the real building. And yeah, definitely sustainability is being the sixth pillar of the well-architected
True.
framework. It's definitely a topic that is front of mind, not just for
Yeah.
organizations, but for individuals. We
Mm.
definitely need to take action in order for everyone to be able to survive comfortably as humans. So I think we all need to think about how we can do our bit for the environment.
Totally. And for those of you who doesn't know what AWS well architected is, I'll drop a link in the chat. So it is a well architected framework, and it's a way where we provide guidance for a customer who is building in the cloud. What are the things that they should look out for? What are the best practices that following to adopt the cloud journey? So I'll pop it in the chat. It's a well-architected framework, and this this year we added the SIS pillar, which is the sustainability pillar. So to see how the workloads is performing and how sustainable it is when you run it in the cloud.
Yes, that's
Cool.
right. And you can actually get a snapshot of what your carbon emissions are and your footprint is through the tool from the console. And it measures your metric tons of carbon dioxide, I think. So I did one for my customer the other week, and it was quite eye-opening. And basically the gist of it is the more you can use workloads in the cloud, and especially managed workloads and serverless workloads, think of AWS Lambda and S3, all of these workloads that don't need you to actually look at the operating system OS layer. That means that you're abstracting away some of the heavy lifting to AWS. Yeah, and then it's also sustainable as well. So it's a win-win for everyone.
And there's no cost attached to it. So if you have AWS account, you can go in and check out if you have a workload, the sustainability, like Mai mentioned, the metrics is in the console. So go and have a look at it. Just even for like the just understand what does it mean to have that kind of workloads, and what is the carbon emissions or the workload impacts on the planet. So cool. Should we dive into the Q&A with Andra?
Yeah, definitely. Are we doing the poll maybe later?
Yeah, cool.
All right. Okay, let's get into the Q&A.
Sounds good.
Hi everyone, it's so great to be able to have this session with you. My name's Sandra Christie.
For joining us today, and thanks for your time. That was a really awesome demo. And I don't know much about IoT TwinMaker, so I'm going to ask those questions if you don't mind.
Of course.
Yeah. So when you started building, the AWS IoT TwinMaker, what are the challenges that you have faced, or like why did you start building the IoT TwinMaker in the first place?
Well, I won't steal the thunder from the actual team that built it, but look, I know that the TwinMaker product team spoke to a lot of customers across lots of different industries. This is well before they started building out the product, and they shared with us a lot of really interesting and innovative use cases. And what we actually found was that a lot of customers, or a large majority, were actually focusing on using digital twins to change and improve their operations. So we had some focus industries around power and utilities, manufacturing, the smart building space, but the real question that came out of it was, why were customers not realizing their vision of digital twins? And what came out of it was, well, because it's really hard. So customers basically knew that building and managing digital twins, it was expensive, it was time consuming. They needed, specialized skills. And also there were a lot of challenges. So, you need to combine data from different sources. You need to create contextualized visualizations. And actually they raised with us 3 separate areas of concern. So it was firstly that data for digital twins is really diverse. It lives in multiple locations. So, it can be really difficult to curate and create associations. And then the physical assets that you're creating the digital twin for can live and evolve over literally decades. And in order to stay relevant, digital twins need to stay the same. And then finally, the 3D visualizations that give that, natural look and feel for us to interpret operational data, they're also hard to build. So, there's a lot to unpack there. And that's why a lot of customers who wanted to get into building digital twins kind of shied away from it. And that helped us with the key functionality and why we wanted to actually build TwinMaker in the first place.
Yeah, wow, that's really interesting story behind it. I haven't tried myself the TwinMaker, so I'll probably have to try it out. I know when you're talking about the story and you talk about the data for digital TwinMaker, what sort of data store does IoT TwinMaker support these days?
So before I actually tell you the data stores that it supports, I'll call out one really important thing, which I already mentioned in the presentation, and that is the fact that you don't actually need to re-ingest any data. So what TwinMaker does is allows customers to query that data in place, and obviously that's fantastic because you don't want to just target greenfields customers. We've got plenty of customers who are using so many different data stores on AWS. We wanted to make sure that we took them into consideration. So out of the box, TwinMaker supports connectors to time series data stores like IoT Sitewise for industrial data, application data stores like S3, video data stores like Kinesis video streams. And a really cool thing that you can do is you can author your own custom data connectors. We've got a few others for things like Siemens MindSphere, for Snowflake. But again, if customers want to go out and build their own data connectors, and I won't lie, Lambda under the covers, they can do that as well, which is really great.
Oh, wow. So Lambda is under the hood. That's pretty cool.
Well, isn't Lambda under the hood of everything? Just kidding.
No, thanks for sharing that. That's really cool. And one thing that's drew my attention is the 3D scenes. So you also talk about the 3D scenes that are difficult to digest. So if I were to compose 3D scene into the IoT TwinMaker, how do I do that?
So again, we wanted to make sure that we included customers who might already have their own 3D models. So if they've already got, 3D models like CAD or BIM or point cloud scans, all they need to do is convert those files into GLTF. GLTF format is really easy to use. It's free, it's lightweight. That's why we kind of focused on that. And then they upload them into the resource library, which is backended by S3. And then basically they import it into the particular scene. So it's really, really easy to import all of those resources, whether it's the underlying scene, like your factory, your smart building, your facility, and then add the individual entities, be that equipment or whatever else you're importing. The really great thing about the Scene Composer is, although it doesn't have, I guess, the bells and whistles of a 3D editor like Unity or Unreal, it gives you that really, really easy way of importing, setting up the scene, resizing, moving it around. So you can get that all set up and still take advantage of the models that you might already have in your, content management library.
Right.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah,
Feel free to jump in.
Yeah. So it looks kind of like Sumerian. Like I played around a lot with Sumerian back in the day. I guess I'm curious if there's any sort of similarities with Sumerian as well. Just out of interest.
No, that's okay. Look, there are obviously some similarities, I think more on the visual depiction side, but certainly as to what we're trying to do overall with TwinMaker is really build out that, realistic, immersive type digital twin that allows you to grow from, being able to potentially just review and monitor something from a remote location to, all the way up to, and actually I'm going to plug the digital twin leveling guide here, all the way up to what we call the level 4 living digital twin, that basically allows customers to introduce higher level services and capabilities like AI and ML, and also simulation capabilities. And that's sort of, not everyone wants to go there, but that's kind of the utopia. You want to get to a point where you've got an updatable living digital twin that provides those types of what if predictions based on the state of the thing. And maybe it's a car, maybe it's a building, whatever it is at that point in time. And that's really what makes it so relevant. So I think it goes, far beyond what Sumerian was able to provide. I still like Sumerian as well. I won't lie, I played around with it too. But it's, the similarities end when you take into account the specific use cases and, I guess, capabilities that they provide.
Yeah, that's awesome. You mentioned, other AI/ML services that you can integrate with, and I'm also curious, how do I model my real model systems in, AWS IoT TwinMaker? So one really great thing that you can take advantage of, and obviously anyone who's listening, is we've got our GitHub repo that's got some great models based on what we call the cookie factory. So that allows you to build out a fully fledged factory, including alarms, including the visualizations, in about 30 to 45 minutes. If you want the tips for how to build it in 30 minutes, let me know. But basically, what you do is you start with a workspace that represents, say, a single work site, and that holds all of the resources. So this could be the models and the visual assets that are required to build the digital twin. And then within that workspace, you create entities that represent the replicas of the real world. And then that allows you to create custom relationships that will essentially form what we call the digital twin graph. And then you connect to the data from the various data stores, you add context to the data,
it just makes it really, really simple to bring all of that together and to really provide the right context, to associate the right entities with those diverse data stores. So it's, we try to simplify it as much as possible. And I guess to, kind of add my unique opinion, I think we really built TwinMaker for customers who, to essentially bridge the gap between customers who didn't want to build a digital twin from scratch, and also customers who might not want to invest a lot of capital in customizing an existing digital twin solution to actually do what they want it to. So it's that nice, middle point that gives them that level of flexibility.
Yeah, that's awesome. I wish I had it when I was a public sector customer.
Well, now you can.
Now you can. Shout out to Craig Lawton, who was actually helping us back in the day. Now, so changing tact here, what's the biggest lesson learned about working in a technical role at AWS?
Probably the biggest lesson that I can impart to anyone else is that you don't need to know everything. That was probably one of my biggest challenges when I started working at AWS, and until I, cemented in my own head that it was perfectly fine not to know everything about the 200 plus services or anything else for that matter, because we have so many SMEs internally, so many resources, and there's so much help out there. You can truly focus on, your area of expertise, making sure that you're providing the requisite help to your own customers. And, also just-in-time learning is severely underrated.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Maya, what do you reckon?
No, that's I totally agree. Just-in-time learning, like what you said, Andrea, like there are new things coming out every day, like new technologies, like not just within AWS. So we just have to pick up things on our feet. Totally.
So true.
That's awesome. So what's been your biggest achievement in the last 2 years?
It's kind of a tough one because I'd say figuring out what the right role was for me, which has made me much happier and settled, and it's also enabled me to increase the quality of my work. And I find it really satisfying to help others, whether it's sharing my knowledge through events or training sessions, or kind of enabling others to do the same. I've been part of some really great initiatives and enablement programs, and the latest one, which was really incredibly satisfying for me personally and professionally, was running a global reach enablement program with another colleague of mine, Chris Green, at AWS to get more solution architects enabled on TwinMaker. It's sometimes hard to choose what you feel is your biggest achievement versus what it actually was without sounding like you've got a massive head. But it's still nice to achieve something that helps other people, basically.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And this probably goes into the generalist versus specialist bonus question. Yeah, so are you enjoying your specialist role at the moment? And I guess what made you go down the specialist path?
I absolutely love the specialist role. I think, there's always a misconception that if you specialize, you end up just focusing on one thing, when realistically, you still have to know a lot about the things that your particular solution interacts with. And, it's still all of the other AWS services, not to mention, particular external data stores or other solutions that your customer might use. However, having a more, specific focus as opposed to a broad focus lends itself better in just the way that my brain works. It kind of makes me, more excited about the things that I'm able to do and kind of put out both internally and externally. I've had experience with doing both generalist and specialist roles at AWS and, in various other pre-sales type roles. And I think I've reached a ripe old age where I know that the specialist role is definitely more enjoyable, certainly from a professional standpoint.
Yeah, that's an awesome answer, and yeah, a lot of us listening will be, taking your comments on board and just thinking about their own careers. What do you reckon, mate?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting to see. Um, there are some overlap, but there's still like difference between generalist and specialist roles. So it definitely, I bet, Andrea, like from your experience, it's worth it because that's really what you're passionate about, helping other with your specialized knowledge. So yeah, I think I do have to think about it for myself as well.
It doesn't work for everyone. I think it just comes
Mm.
down to finding the thing that's right for you. And
Yeah,
it probably
totally.
took me longer than I would like to admit to get to that stage. But if this discussion helps someone to reach that point sooner, I'm all for it. It's very satisfying when you find something that not only do you know that you're good at, but that you can share and impart to other people as well.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
is some awesome advice, Andra, and it could not only apply in the tech field, but for example, take healthcare. You've got generalists there and specialists there as well. So it can be a topic that can be taken outside of tech. So yeah, for those of you
Absolutely.
listening, yeah, definitely think about those different kind of areas. Awesome. So let's wrap up here. Thank you so much for your time, Andra. It's been a pleasure talking to you and learning about IoT TwinMaker. And we'll hope to see you again on our show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a real pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Cool. That's a great Q&A. What do you think, Mai?
Yeah, I think she dived deep into both the technical aspects and the career aspects. So it's a well-balanced Q&A, I would say, and very
Definitely.
articulate. Yeah. We have some questions from the audience. So let me post this up. Maybe, May, would Selenium itself be a focus or as part of a large stack as a developer? What are your thoughts?
I don't know. It's a really good question. Whether I can see Selenium automation ABEZ live that you posted there, but because I play around with Selenium itself, and it's very developer friendly. You can like integrate with lots of other things, and like 3D scenes is one of the biggest thing, and also like the being the virtual host and so on. So there are a lot of use cases out there, and we constantly working on it. So it would be interesting to see what other new features will come out this year. So stay tuned for that, I would say. What do you reckon, Maya?
Look, that's not my realm. So I think you answered it really, really nicely, May. And with that, are we going to the second poll?
Yes, let's do the second poll. So the first poll was a test. Well, a test, but also to see where how many times you have been watching our show. But this one is a little different. So the second poll is slightly different, and I'm going to bring it up on the screen, and hopefully this time the screen sharing works. Cool. All right. So can you all see my screen?
It's working.
Yeah. Does it come up?
Yep, it's definitely there.
Cool. Awesome. So this one is around which topic that you would like to hear from us. So we have a few different topics, and I wanted to see where you want to see more technical demos, how to get started on AWS. It could be like how do you get started and have a secure AWS account. Or do you want to hear the interviews with AWS experts? So we would just do like a interview or fireside chat with AWS experts. Or do you want to hear about career discussions? So careers could be like changing career or career at AWS, maybe open roles that we have around the world. So what do you want to hear from us? And all you have to do is type in like 1, 2, 3, 4 in the chat. So just type in, don't be shy. Just type in 1, 2, 3, 4 in the chat, and the poll is still opened. So it could be career discussions. I can see a few people want to hear career discussions. I think that's a really interesting topic, don't you think, Mai?
Yeah, definitely. So, we can do both, right? You know, and we actually did both in this session.
Yeah.
So, but we love to hear more from the audience. Which topic is most important to you?
Yeah, totally. Like technical demos like today, when you see 3D scenes, like that's really like excites me. The technical demos like that. So if you want to hear more about technical demos, just type in 1 in the chat. The poll is still open. We've got about 2 more minutes for the poll, and then we will wrap up after that. So do you want to hear interview with AWS experts? We can sit down and interview some of our internal people and see, what's their career progressions like, or what is it like working at AWS. Oh, it looks like the technical demo is the winner.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I guess our show is called Tech Skills, so everyone's here for tech skills or improving their tech skills via demos,
Totally.
which is good to hear. We'll still have a component of the careers discussion as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's really awesome to hear.
Awesome. So I am gonna wrap up the poll here. I'm gonna take a post, but I just want to say thank you, Mai, thank you, Andrea, for today, and also thanks to the audience. I know a lot of the audience today is a new joiner, so welcome to the show, and hopefully you can tune in for the next month. And we do it every third of Thursday or Friday in Australia, but Thursday if you are in the States. But we will do the announcement closer to the date, but we do it monthly.
Yeah, and if you haven't signed up to our Tech Skills Splash That through our Tech Skills Splash That webpage, we always send out reminders about our next session. And also, if you wanted to catch up on previous topics that will help your certification process, please do check out our YouTube videos, and that's all available when you register as well. So please do go check it out.
Cool. I just dropped in our page. So if you don't want to miss for the next show, so just register there, and then we will send out a reminder email so it's booked in your calendar as well. Cool.
Awesome. All right, let's wrap up here. Thanks everyone for joining us on a Thursday evening or Friday morning, wherever you are in the world. This is Mai.
And this is May. Let's net out together on She Builds Tech Skills. See ya.
See you next time.